So now Secretary of Energy Rick Perry is at Davos along with President Trump. Wonderful. Now, while he's at Davos, he's going to talk about how awesome oil and gas are and how America isn't just exporting fossil fuels. We're exporting freedom.
In 2005, we were beside ourselves, if you will, and behind. Other places were where the oil and gas was coming from. You know, we had found it all, peak oil. We heard all of those stories. And then, you know, by the grace of God and some technology and a guy by the name of George Mitchell from Texas, hydraulic fracturing came into play in a really big way, and we were able to go into those tight shell formations and develop that, which is now creating an absolute revolution in the oil and gas industry and completely changing the geopolitical dynamics in the world, with America being at the forefront. We are now the #1 oil and gas producing nation on the face of the earth. I mean, who would have thought that a decade ago, that would have been true? But it puts us in a very unique place. And here's what I try to share with all of our allies and for all of the audience here at Davos, is that the United States is not just exporting energy, we're exporting freedom. We're exporting to our allies in Europe the opportunity to truly have a choice of where do you buy your energy from. That's freedom. And that kind of freedom is priceless.
I'm sorry, did he say technology? I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, is that what he said? Is that what he said? I don't know, man. Again, we're dealing with Rick Perry. But hey, guys, you know all that climate change that's going on? That's a side effect of all the freedom that we're exporting to the world. Freedom. So, what's funny is that, okay, he talked about choice. So you got choice. America, we're exporting that freedom, and you got choice now. Well, it's funny that he talks about that, because in America, Republicans like him are making sure that we actually don't have a choice. Now, I love one of the talking points that comes from the right. It's like, yeah, you get all your your energy. You get it from coal and oil that comes into your home. What are you going to do? You're going to shut off all your lights? You're going to not use energy anymore? How's that an argument? For one, we don't have choice. See, most of us would, if we had a choice, we would say, okay, let's get our energy from solar. Okay, let's get our energy that supplies the grid from wind, right? Let's get it from some of these renewable sources, right? If we had a choice, and look, some of us do, but some of us don't. Some of us might not have enough money to buy solar panels and fit them onto their house. They are expensive, and sometimes it's not an option for people. Okay, but look, those people, they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice in where they choose their energy, and what their power plant, their local power plant, or power company, where they get their energy mix. So it's sort of a funny thing to point out how he's talking about choice and freedom, where a lot of us don't get choice and freedom. But anyway, now whenever we do try to have some choice in our energy supply, Republicans will block it. Donald Trump just slapped a 30% tariff on solar panels, solar cells coming in from China. I know it's going to protect American jobs. Actually, it's going to lose about 28,000 American jobs, somewhere around there. I believe I read that and did a story on that a few days ago. I'll have to check the numbers to be 100% sure. There's going to be a lot of jobs that we're going to end up losing, because guess what? Most of the solar industry here in America is not manufacturing. About 14% of the total workforce in the solar industry in America is actually manufacturing. The rest comes from installation. You raise the price on solar panels, you know what's going to happen? You're going to end up losing those installer jobs. So, and it's sad, because solar is actually the fastest growing industry in America. Not anymore. So he just kind of fucked us on that one. But anyway, no, the Republicans do everything they can to block it, because they're not interested in energy freedom. They're not interested in energy choice. What they are interested in is all those checks from the oil and gas industry. But there's more.
How would you characterize the supply that will be coming from the U.S. onto the global market?
You know, I'm not sure anything since World War II has been any more dynamic, from my perspective, than the shift in energy supply, energy control, if you will. And again, the United States isn't about controlling a country with this energy. It's about literally freeing up our allies around the world, letting them know that we're going to be there for them. There's no strings attached when you buy American LNG.
Yeah.
So that's world changing.
Oh, it's world changing, all right. You know what's also changing? Climate. But okay. Hey, man, look, we're just freeing up our allies to buy our corporations' oil and natural gas. What? Freedom! Freedom! We love freedom here. Look, that sounds comical, but actually, that has been Rick Perry's goal from the beginning. Look, the whole point of Trump putting in Rick Perry, and the whole reason that Rick Perry actually accepted this job in the first place, is because he thought he was going to be an ambassador for oil and gas companies. He believed that that was his only job. In fact, the New York Times wrote last year that Perry, quote, believed he was taking on a role as a global ambassador for the American oil and gas industry he had long championed in his home state. So, yeah, he didn't know. Like, one of the stories that I remember doing last year is the fact that Rick Perry, he didn't know that he had to actually deal with nuclear weapons. Now, look, that's a scary thought. Rick Perry, nuclear weapons. Another scary thought is Donald Trump, nuclear weapons. But that's the world we live in. But as far as him championing oil and gas, it's exactly what he's doing here. He's saying, freedom, freedom. We have the freedom to export oil everywhere. Look, and he's largely being successful, at least in the United States. Now, you mentioned that the United States actually is now a leading producer of oil and natural gas, fossil fuels. In fact, our production has reached a record high level in 2018, and will set another record in 2019. You know what other records we're also setting? Heat records. How hot the globe is. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Look, what we should be doing, of course, is we should be pushing for renewable energy. Climate change is an enormous threat. But, of course, the Republicans, Donald Trump, Rick Perry, the rest of the Republicans, they don't want to see it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't care about it. All they care about is getting paid from their donors. And here's the thing, right? They've been bought off by solar companies. They don't have the money for that. Again, solar companies, fastest growing job creator in the country, even has more jobs than coal. But what are they going to do? They're going to try to prop up the coal industry. Rick Perry tried that. He got rejected. Thank goodness he got rejected. But that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. Amazing, right? Talking about how oil and gas, how being able to sell it, that's freedom. We're exporting freedom. But solar panels, they're not freedom. No, we got to limit those. And look, by the way, he talks about our allies in Europe especially, right? A lot of European countries are actually working on expanding their renewable energy capacity. They're actually looking to switch their grids over. In fact, there's a recent agreement here that said that by 2020, all EU countries will have the goal of having at least 20% of their power come from renewable sources. Now, 20% across all of Europe, that's pretty significant, and that will lead to a significant reduction in emissions. Now, by 2030, they want to have a goal of 27% all across all European countries. However, there are European countries that are actually way ahead of that curve. Let me give you an example here. In 2015, the amount of energy consumed from renewable energy sources in Sweden was over 50%. Over half of their entire power consumption came from renewable energy sources. In Finland, you've got 39% of all energy consumption from renewable energy, 30.9 in Norway, on and on and on, and it keeps going down, right? So my point is, by bringing up those numbers, is that they're not going to want American oil and gas. They're saying, hey, America, we don't need your stinking freedom. We don't need your stinking oil or your gas. We've got our own energy sources, and we're working to get our energy sources to be completely renewable. There's the future, right? And unfortunately, with the Trump administration, we are going backwards on the issue of energy. And we're going backwards, especially on the issue of climate change. We can't just keep burning fossil fuels without any regard of what we're actually doing to the planet. Because look, to bring it on terms that Rick Perry might actually understand, freedom doesn't mean a damn thing if you can't actually survive on the planet that you're living on. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.